Welcome to our little show, where the wild ideas flow. We plant the seeds in dusty ground, watch them rise without a sound. Marketing dreams, tech extremes, AI's the spark behind the beams. Tales from the dirt road, where the whispers turn bold. Stories twist and stories grow. Where will our story go?
Liz, question for you today. Oh, by the way, hey everyone, welcome to the Tales from the Dirt Road podcast. I'm Tony Van, here with the lovely, talented, and much smarter than I am, Liz Hirsch. About to pose a question for you. Liz, you ready?
I'm ready.
Have you thought about what it would be like if we had a social media app that you opened up and you just scrolled, and it was just nothing, just white? That's the importance of content, Liz. That is the importance of being able to write well and connect with your audience. And so that's what we're going to talk about today, Liz, is we're going to talk a little bit about how writing has changed as communication professionals. We're going to talk a little bit about how they impact traditional marketing as well as digital marketing, as I alluded to. So I think I posed a question there, Liz. Have you ever thought about what it would be like to open up, what would we call it? Blank book? Nada? So the meta would be nada? I don't
Well,
know.
to be honest, my first thought was, wouldn't that be a glorious world?
It'd be like ASMR all over again, just like shh, just a small shh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Huh. I'll tell you
Uh,
what, why don't we do that for our listeners? For the next 20 minutes, there will be nothing said or spoken except for the outro, and that's when our podcast will begin. Is that what we're looking for, Liz?
I guess I would miss there are some things about my very carefully curated feed that I would miss. Right now, that's a mix of obviously Taylor Swift, Fate of Ophelia,
Mm. Yeah,
some
obviously.
some funny dog memes, and a lot of 90s kid memes.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Well, this podcast was supposed to be about the importance of writing and written content, but I will tell you, all I can get out of my head right now are those stupid videos. I guess they're TikTok videos of the babies or infants speaking as adults. Have you seen this? Have you heard these?
Oh, like the E-Trade commercial from
Yeah,
back.
it's like
Yeah.
that, but they have them all over the internet now. It's like construction guys, but they're like 2-year-old like pudgy babies that are
Oh,
doing it. You
I
haven't
don't
seen
see those.
this? Oh,
No.
yeah. Okay. Well, that's maybe we should change the focus and be like, "Bruh, do you ever TikTok?" Like I'm ladies and gentlemen, live. I'm speaking to the only millennial that actually doesn't get on social media. Breaking news, right?
Tony, if I opened, whatever social channel and it was completely blank, I would actually love that. On a deeply personal level, I don't love social media, but we provide it as a service, so I'm in it every day.
Yeah.
And you're right. I mean, without the written word and the visuals to go with it,
What do you have?
what
What
do
do
you
you
have?
have?
Nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right. And I think that's, we can argue a little bit. Last week we talked a little bit about the change in our industry, and we can talk about the how things have changed or how the written word has changed. Obviously, if you look back whatever hundreds of years we're not doing a this is thou blah blah. Like we can discuss Shakespearean versus contemporary English, whatever you want to talk about. I think the thought here is that we find that people want a shortcut, or there are times in which especially, we keep going back, but in AI, if you will, we go to a shortcut, and when they come to a point in which they can't complete a thought, or their thought train runs dry, a dash is interesting as a way to bridge that gap, right? Or the fact is that, maybe I don't have that commitment to the reader or to the consumer, because basically I'm just filling a page, right? And so I think that one of the things that we look at today is the fact that writing well written content, whether that's long form, short form, is often rare. And I would argue that a lot of times people are extremely thirsty for non AI jibber jabber slammed together content, whether it's long form, short form. I mean, we can talk everything from.
Oh, sure. I mean,
You know.
let me ask you this. If you click on a video or a reel and you hear one of those AI generated voices, do you continue to listen, or are you closing it immediately?
Okay, so that's a really great question. So honestly, I'm a caption guy, so I used to get very annoyed with those. For the most part, for multiple reasons, I do not watch videos with the sound up, because of that fact. Because it's like, um,
Are you going to try to do a voice?
purse gone wrong. Need more facts. Like, no, I'm not in that. Or black purse feels so good. Or like I can't think of the voice. I'm just trying to do all the voices, and you can get the captions. And so if there's a video that I think is going to be funny, or I want to see the content or whatever, I don't need that AI based blah blah blah. Now, I'll flip that back to you. And Liz, I use a lot of AI labs and things like that. I think that the AI models, there's no excuse for that unless for some reason someone has figured out that actually people listen to that and they feel more connected, which may be a generational thing. How about
It,
you?
it must be, because everyone, my limited sphere of people tend to say the same thing. Like, oh, I'm so sick of that voice on, I want to
Mm-hmm.
learn about fill in the blank, right? But it's just some voice that's, yeah, AI generated. Yeah, maybe it's full of useful information, but I just can't stand some of these generic voices.
Right, right. I have, well, and kind of, I'm not saying bring it back, but to that point, I have become a much more avid reader video wise. I don't know how to say that. So captions used to annoy the crud out of me, whether it was on TV or movies or blah blah blah. I have become, and I actually just went to the ear doctor like 6 months ago, but I have incredible hearing, which is yet another story I'll share with my listeners some other time. But someone in our household thought maybe I wasn't hearing things correctly or things
Okay.
well. So I took that very seriously and went, and basically my outcome was good news, bad news. Good news is you have hearing like an eagle. Bad news is you're going to have to go back to the person in the household and say you're basically just not listening to them. So
Yeah,
which
but
that's
I'm
that's
sorry that I have selective hearing and that I may or may not tune you out at times.
I might have a problem. It may be I'm going now to the psychologist basically. But no, that's so but that being said, so I can hear TV. It's not like, whatever, but I have just become more engaged or adaptive because it's almost become a graphic novel, lack of a better term. And so the same
Hmm.
thing with, so back to that. So if the writing is well done in the script of those videos or movies or whatever, a lot of people don't this is a really great spinoff. I'm loving this actually. So we didn't really talk about this. Well, in my head, so content writing, people don't realize oftentimes, even when you think something is being very authentic, it is scripted. Maybe not every single thing. I'm not saying that they're not ad libs either in entertainment or documentaries or whatever, but a lot of times those things are very scripted. And if you read things that are on video and you can see that they're, like, this is the Galapagos turtle of Galapagos, blah, 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 blah. Like that's very scripted. But if you get something that's like, I'm going to use my mom a little bit, like Blue Bloods, like if you listen to Blue Bloods, but if you read Blue Bloods, it actually is kind of more impactful because there's not that whole like, hey Johnny, you got to go down to the cellar and find some wine, right? It's more like, um, hey John, go down to the cellar, cluck 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 cluck, and find some wine. Like I can make up the voice. It's like reading a novel. Like I don't have to worry about Tom Selleck's mustache in his terribly New York accent kind of thing. So, you know, God bless Tom Selleck. Rest his soul. Well, rest his entertainment soul. He's still alive, but
Yeah, I
yeah.
was going to say, I don't think he died, but
No, it's just his career. His career died, but not him.
career. So going back to your point of watching sound muted, captions on, I do a fair bit of that. Yes, I do that as well. So on some level, that's why it's so hard to spot these AI videos initially, because I'm just scrolling through my feed. Ooh, this looks interesting, and then I'm like, nope, cut, abort. Like I'm done, done with this one. Um, and so what are the like? I think they're called headless YouTube channels, right? Where it's just like they don't. There's no talking head. The person behind the channel wants to remain completely anonymous. Is
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, yeah.
that what it
Gotcha.
refers to? Yeah. Which I think you could still be. I should look this up. I think you could still be headless and do your own voiceovers. You're just not showing your face on screen. Maybe these ones that are completely AI generated have a different term.
That's how I live my day every day. I mean, I walk through my life and I never show my face and I just let people hear my voice. Hey Liz, don't look over here. So,
Right, right.
I mean, there are ventriloquists that made many, many millions of dollars doing that. It's fine.
So obviously, with these large language models, the advent of these large language models, many, many people who struggle to write, who had previously turned to marketing and communications professionals, they now have this tool at their fingertips. I heard somebody very, very wisely call it, a calculator for words, right?
Yep. Oh, that's really good. Yeah, I
I know,
like
I
that
thought that was
actually.
really creative. Um, so suddenly, all of these people who did not have the skill of telling a story and creating some suspense or creating a hook to draw people in, they now have the ability to do that with these tools, whether it's using, like I said, an LLM for written word. There's a lot of video tools out there now that, with a few prompts and some revisions, you can create a pretty compelling video now. Um, is this a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Maybe it's to be determined.
Yeah. Yeah. That's I find that we come up with more aha moments, at least for me, because you're right. It's like the person that's like, okay, well, I can't write. I'm going to go down to the convenience store and pick up some words. Like it's AI is that cheap dealer around the corner. The Noah, Mr. Webster is the one that's always doing you right. But if you go around the corner and go see Gemini, well, the words are a little cheaper and maybe it's not as good as Noah's words, but it's still going to get you there kind of thing. So,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'd actually never really thought about it until this moment. I mean, there probably over the last 2 years, there has probably been a drop in little random requests from clients. Hey, can you help me with this little thing, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
have a lot of clients on, kind of a fixed bid monthly retainer, right? So, if they, hey, can you help us write this? And if it's something we can knock out quickly, yeah, sure, we'll do it. Um, yeah, probably a lot of those clients are now just pulling up ChatGPT, doing it
They're,
themselves.
they're going around the corner, Liz. They're not coming to you anymore. They're going around the corner.
Yeah. Which is on the one hand great. I don't have to stop what I'm doing and craft a quick little email for them. Um, Come to me when we really need to think through, okay, maybe we have some bad news that we need to disseminate. How do we do this? What does this look like?
Yeah.
Let's think through the strategy, the pitfalls. Let's craft a message that's gonna land softly so we don't piss people off, as an example.
Ooh. Yeah, see, and this is tickling my brain all over the place because I want the opportunity to speak to my client about other ways that we could utilize. For instance, there are multiple times where someone will say, "Hey, can you just write this little blah blah blah?" Now, I'm not necessarily trying to upsell them, but you realize that what they come to you and say is, "I want to use a hammer." And you say, "Well, you're really going to have to use a screwdriver and 3 wrenches on this job, right?" And
Yeah.
that is the opportunity missed, I think, when they kind of outsource or quilt together services like that, because you just think it's not you, but the client just thinks
Yeah.
it's three words to put in the church bulletin. But then you say, well, did you build a landing page? You have a QR code? Like, what,
Yeah.
what do you do? What's your call to action? Well, they don't think about that. They just write, we sell great ice cream. Cool. Why? That's wasted. You've just wasted space. You don't have any way to engage your clients. You've just told them the same thing 5 other people do. So,
Yeah. So great points. And I think this is one of these instances where we have to. Our last podcast, we talked about how we're in the midst of change, a lot of change, right? And I think we, not you and I, we marketing and communications professionals, we have some thoughts about what's going on in the world. And I think it's one of these things where maybe we just have to sit back and be patient and say, okay, yeah, you put your you put your little blurb about your ice cream and you thought it was great, you were jazzed about it, and then when nothing happened, when the sales didn't happen, the conversions, the engagement, whatever it is that you thought was going to happen when it didn't, and you're sitting there scratching your head, great, you can come
now,
back to us, we'll be here.
yeah,
We'll be
now come talk to me. Yeah, right, right. Which this is a great point to kind of promote a little bit. If you have not listened to our episode about KPIs, please do that as well, because it's important to set those KPIs to understand your ROI from your ice cream flyer. So,
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and look, I think we haven't really addressed, we've been chatting a lot, but we haven't really maybe touched on like the what's the word I'm looking for? The painful reality that we've had to face in the last couple years is yeah, suddenly something that the world may have viewed as a very valuable skill, using words to craft a message and draw people in and tug at heartstrings, right? Like whatever your goal was, suddenly there's this tool that does that for you. And it's been tough for me the last couple years. A lot of the conversations I have had, oh, well, yeah, so AI just does what you do now.
yeah, yeah.
Thanks. Thanks for that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, I don't want to wrap this conversation up on a downside, but I think you're right. I think that to last week's podcast conversation is change is change and change is sometimes tough. And I think that I came into this podcast thinking, the written word is the holy grail. And if you don't write well, then, you're, I don't know, less of a human being. That's awful. But, like that, you need to seek someone. But I'll tell you, I love the rise of the more rich graphic novel, right? The AKA the comic book, right? And that is something that there's writing involved, but the story is being told. So, Liz, I think I'm going to officially pivot on this conversation and maybe say it's more important to tell a rich story with content than it is to get caught up in the colons, semicolons, and parenthesis of life. Parenthesia of life. Almost nailed it.
No, that's sound advice. I love it.
All right.
I really do think, I know in last week's episode, I was very speculative and I was like, how is this going to play out? But I think the more slop that we see, the more really crappy storytelling we see, I think people are going to get turned off by it. And I don't know what direction that looks like. I don't know if that's people pulling back from the internet altogether. I don't know if that's finding if there's some new social channels or communities that where just AI isn't there, and it really goes back to like more authentic interactions and connections. I don't know, but I don't see this AI slop going well, and it's gonna force us as humans and as marketing and communication professionals to pivot a few more times. Where we end up landing, I'm not sure.
Don't know. And I think this is, we keep phasing, but I think this is a great conversation too, because as I hear you talking about this, I don't disagree, but I will also tell you that I can almost see this as like restaurants. So for instance, look, AI to some business owners and or consumers may be the golden corral, all you can eat CC's buffet of marketing, whereas a different type of consumer and or different type of brand may still have the value or understand the value in crafted, curated messaging, written or otherwise. So maybe the fact is we don't get tired of the slop. We just decide whether we want to eat slop for Friday night and then go out for something a little bit better on Saturday. I don't know what that looks like. So it's...
Or if you want to have a boozy, classy champagne brunch on Sunday. I don't know.
Yeah, that's right. That's well, I don't know what happened here, but we started talking about words, went to graphic novels, talked about the importance of story, and now I'm freaking hungry, Liz. So I got a jet. I got to go get myself some biscuits and gravy. See, that's what Oklahoma is. I'm like, I don't know what this brunch and champagne is, but I'm going to take some biscuits and gravy, some B's and G's, and a black cup of coffee, and I'll be fine, just fine. So that may be the AI, although that's handcrafted. So that's probably highly curated with 82% French butter. So for sure. All right. Well, I'm going to put a big fat bow on this. I'm not sure how to do that, to be honest with you. We have just run to the end, and maybe there's another one. But for the Tales from the Dirt Road, I am Tony Van.
And I'm Liz Hirsch.
From gravel paths to starlit skies, we chase the sparks with open eyes. The future hums in the air tonight. Every step feels like first light. Will it bend like a willow or roar like a stream? Will it build a new world